Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 15 of our look back at Forgotten Favorites. That's right, we're returning back to Forgotten Favorites for a full month for the first time in over 2 years, revisiting some forgotten, underrated, obscure classics that we love. But they're obscure in general. These are not mainstream albums we're talking about here. We might have some more mainstream artists and musicians that did a kind of more obscure album, but for the most part, these are going to be fairly obscure in general, including this one today. So this album was released in 1982. It's the second album from this British band. They were part of the new wave of British heavy metal movement. The band is called Nightwing. The album is Black Summer. Always love that album cover. Their album covers of their first two albums, especially, pretty damn cool. So this is a band comprised of Gordon Rowley on bass and lead vocals, Steve Bartley on drums. We've got Kenny Newton on keyboards and Alec Johnson on guitars and lead and backing vocals. And there they are right there. Get a little closer picture of them right there. So, like I said, these guys were around as a different band in the 70s and then morphed into Nightwing as the 70s closed on. They released their first album in 1980, and this was their second album. Basically, their sound is very, very similar to my ears anyway, to Deep Purple and the Gillan Band, right? So, hard and heavy stuff, great guitars, really good vocals. You got two guys singing here in the band. Bass is really high up in the mix. And lots of keyboards. Hammond organ and synthesizers. Very, very prominent in the mix. So if you like that big and boisterous, groovy, heavy rock sound, but with lots of keys, this is a band for you to check out. I would say they're probably, to think of the other kind of keyboard heavy bands of the new wave of British heavy metal scene, like Demon and maybe Praying Mantis. I would say that these guys are heavier than both of them. A little bit more rock, and they have, like I said, more of a Deep Purple and Gillan type of a thing going on in their sound. Lots of great songs on here. You got 8 tracks in total. You got Overnight Sensation, the first song. Really, really good. Just kicks off the album hard and heavy fashion. You got Bird Has Flown, another good one. Carry On I really like a lot. Great guitar riff in that. Long Hard Road is a little bit more kind of atmospheric, maybe almost proggy. Nice keys in that particular song. Searchin's another really good one. Then Evil Woman. I mean, how many song titles in like hard rock music and metal music, or rock music in general, have that title Evil Woman? So many. Man, what a snarling, awesome riff on this song. That's just it's one of the heavier tracks on the album. Fast and Furious. Total new wave of British heavy metal right here. Love Evil Woman. Black Summer is also really cool, the title track. Again, that's very kind of haunting and kind of spooky sounding. Great keys on that one too. The synthesizer stuff is really good on this album from Kenny. And then Don't Want to Lose You is the last track, which finishes it off. And it's also another kind of fast-paced but melodic song. All the tracks on here are very, very melodic. This is a really, really underrated album from this scene. Nobody ever talks about Nightwing, and but we're talking about him today. So they would go on to release a few other albums throughout the 80s. I kind of lost track of them after a little bit, so I'm not quite sure if their output was basically in the 80s and nothing else. But they do have at least a handful of records out. But it's the first two are the ones you really want to kind of center on because those are came out right around the time of this kind of British heavy metal movement that was going on. So Black Summer by Nightwing is my pick for today. If you've heard it, let us know what you think down in the comments below. More importantly, go check it out, but also list your pick for today, your forgotten favorite of today. We're going with the obscure all month long, so let's keep it going. We're halfway through the month, just about halfway through the month. So we got the second half going. I've got still lots more to talk about. We'll get to them one day at a time before we move into in June. We're going to be taking a look back 10 and 20 years. Albums that are 10 years old and 20 years old in 2024. First half of the month, I'm going to be looking at my favorite 15 from 2004. And the second half of the month, I'm going to go to 2014 and look at my 15 favorites from that year as well. So 10 and 20 years, albums that are celebrating their 10 and 20 year anniversaries here this year. That's coming up in June. Stay tuned for that. But don't touch that dial. We've got new album reviews coming at you all day today here on the channel. So lots of them popping up. So stay tuned for that. And tomorrow, of course, is the Monsters Den. Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff comes at you on Friday, along with the Professor's Picks with Ken Golden. Saturday's the UK Connection. We're going to do an album war on the UK Connection. We're going to pit a couple big blockbuster albums from the mid-'80s from here in the U.S. We've got Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA going up against Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band's Like a Rock. That's happening on Saturday. And then Sunday, Grant Arthur and I will be ranking the albums of Firefall. Also, Rich Catino and I will be back at you with our new wave of traditional heavy metal primer, episode number 3. That's also coming up this weekend. That'll be hitting you Saturday night. So lots happening. So tune in. And I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you then, everybody. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.